The Cleveland Browns are the best landing spot for Deshaun Watson if you exclusively look at the organization Deshaun Watson could be going to. If you just look at the Cleveland Browns, if you start to look at the opponents and you start to look at the path of least resistance, you can talk about better landing spots. But if you're only looking at the team, the best roster Deshaun Watson could go to, it is absolutely and unequivocally the Cleveland Browns. If Deshaun Watson shows up in Cleveland, they are instantaneously Super Bowl contenders. Lamar Jackson has higher highs than Deshaun Watson, but I think Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback. Joe Burrow has it, which Deshaun Watson I don't think has in the same potency, but I think Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback. Wow. And obviously, when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are still trying to figure out exactly who and what they're going to do at quarterback. Mitch Trubisky is the latest on that carousel. Deshaun Watson would go to the Cleveland Browns and, in my opinion, instantly become the best quarterback in that crazy talented division.
Crazy.
And if you can become the best quarterback in that division and have a team that already has a roster that's Super Bowl ready, Deshaun can clearly take the Browns to a Super Bowl. The Browns were 11-5 with Baker Mayfield.
When?
In Kevin Stefanski's first season as head coach.
Oh, a while back. Okay.
If you can be 11-5 with the rookie head coach and Baker Mayfield at quarterback, imagine what you can be with one of the best coaches in football and a quarterback who now has taken a couple of lashes and taken his lumps as a head coach, that is, in Kevin Stefanski. If you can be 11-5 with Baker Mayfield, God only knows what the ceiling is with Deshaun Watson. But I know what the ceiling is.
What is the ceiling?
The ceiling is a Super Bowl. Can't guarantee that they'll win. I can't guarantee they'll get there year one. But Deshaun Watson, that Browns roster, Andrew Berry, a phenomenal general manager, and Kevin Stefanski as a head coach, that has a Super Bowl in the future of Cleveland. I look at it, Sel.
How you look at it?
Deshaun Watson won't have to tire because he won't have to do everything. Y'all remember in Houston, Deshaun Watson was getting kicked in the eye, Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, Oakland at the time, I believe. Deshaun Watson getting kicked in the eye, scrambling, has a bloodied eye, swollen eye, and still throwing touchdown passes. Deshaun Watson leading the league in passing touchdowns for nothing to show for it, only going 4-12 because he legitimately has no help. Deshaun Watson out there fighting without DeAndre Hopkins and a J.J. Watt that doesn't even want to play when he is healthy because J.J. Watt wanted to be moved elsewhere. So put Deshaun Watson with the head coach, who's incredibly talented, a general manager, one of the best in the league, and you have Deshaun Watson, one of the most talented quarterbacks. I see a Super Bowl in the future of the Browns.
Do you? But you told me you only see it because you're only going to look at the roster, not the opponents, which you get judged by. And you always tell me it's a relative experience in sports. But when you're making this take for Deshaun Watson, oh, no, forget the relationship to your opponents. Just look at where you're going. You got to leave home sometime. And when you got to leave home, oh, these Browns are doo-doo Browns. And outside of Deshaun Watson, let me be real about this. It's too much competition in the AFC. Sometimes it's okay. It's okay. You got to know that you don't want to mess around with the roster gods in terms of, well, I want to go to the best roster. Stiffest competition. No, I want to go to the worst roster. Easiest competition, because neither one are a guarantee. He may go to a loaded roster like the Cleveland Browns and may ball out, except, I don't know, did he play football last year? So you expect him to hit the ground running. Okay, that's fine, because you talked about the coach there in his first year as a head coach. He hit the ground running. But now we're going to have Deshaun Watson in a situation where, just tell me this, does he have impact in terms of the number of sacks allowed? Or somewhat, yeah, because they were 27th last year. Does he have impact in the penalty yards last season? Not really. You know, he's a leader. He's going to bring the culture to a winning culture. Barely a winning culture, though. Don't forget, Deshaun Watson, only 2 games over 500 in his career. Don't act like he's this winner. So when you say his ceiling is Super Bowl, I'm saying his ceiling is win another playoff game, bruh. Anyway, they were 28th in penalty yards last season. They were 27th in red zone defense. Oh, Deshaun, can he help with that? Yeah. What about 21st in takeaways? Deshaun, they got issues on this roster. Now, Baker Mayfield was the greatest issue, so you can fix that right now. However, let's not act like this roster doesn't have some issues, including in the passing game. What's their number one? Who is their number one?
Mark Cooper.
Who you say?
Mark Cooper.
The number 2 from Dallas who got released is now the number 1 and he knows the system? Oh, Deshaun knows the system? Oh, Deshaun played last year? Oh, He's 2 games over 500, 1 playoff game. Oh, man, stop playing. And you got to go out there. You think Justin Herbert going to let Deshaun Watson get in the club before him? Herbie, AFC, baby. Herbie, baby. You think Josh Allen is playing them games? You think Patrick Mahomes is like, oh, yeah, come on, Deshaun. First of all, trying to make the Pro Bowl in the AFC as a quarterback, good luck to you. I don't see it, man. I think the roster of the Cleveland Browns is special. I think the road ahead and their issues on their roster is not something that Deshaun Watson should be looking to do.
Let me help you see it, man, because I understand some of the stats. I don't like getting bogged down in all of them because every team has their flaws. Even the Los Angeles Rams last year were not at all a great defense. Led the league in sacks, not at all a great defense, won a Super Bowl. I look at pieces. Can pieces get you to a Super Bowl? The Browns have the running backs, 2,000-yard capable running backs, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, both gone over 1,000 in the course of their career, and both are in their prime to a degree. So Deshaun Watson, you got Nick Chubb, you got Kareem Hunt. You need a special defensive player. You have one in Myles Garrett. Second to T.J. Watt when it comes to defensive MVP voting, defensive MVP greatness. You got Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald. League of their own when it comes down to pass rushers. League of their own.
Yeah.
So the Browns, you got that. You need a lockdown corner. Now, Denzel Ward is not Jalen Ramsey. Mind you, Jalen Ramsey didn't have a great Super Bowl appearance. But Denzel Ward is ranked 13th by PFF. If you don't even want to look at PFF, just look at the tape. But I know everybody doesn't have time to watch the tape, so we can talk about Pro Football Focus. Denzel Ward's still a dude. So if I look at the Cleveland Browns and I look at their pieces, stout running game, check. Offensive line, I understand they just lost their center, but when you talk about the collective unit, check. Amari Cooper, everybody wants to slander Amari Cooper. I personally don't get it. Amari Cooper went for 1,000 yards with Andy Dalton as his quarterback. I don't need to say any more, and I don't need to say any less. Make everything as simple as possible and no simpler.
But he
went for 1,000 yards.
Did you say everyone slanders him and you don't know why?
I don't know why.
Maybe you shouldn't ask yourself, why don't you slander him?
Because I have asked myself that question.
Okay.
And when I say, wait a second.
I say, wait, self.
4 Pro Bowls in what, 6-7 years?
Yeah, he was a beast.
3 Pro Bowls in his first 4 years.
Oh, yeah, he was a beast.
Went to the Pro Bowl just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
People want to claim that he was the number 2, but number 2 by what metric? By yardage metric? Because remember, Amari Cooper missed a couple games due to COVID. So we're calling him number 2 by what metric? To me, Amari Cooper is still a bona fide number 1 receiver. 1,800 yards over the last 2 years, really 1,900 if we want to round up. Averaging 900 yards over the last 2 years. 1 year played with Dak Prescott, another year played with Andy Dalton.
Did he quit in Oakland?
Who else is doing that?
Did he quit in Oakland? Did he quit on the Dallas Cowboys?
He definitely quit.
Strong.
Yeah, that's strong. Now, I think there are a lot of ambiguity around that one play. We all remember, again, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, 2019, Week 16. I watched the game closer than anybody. So there was a little suspect action there. But if you, in my mind, you got a number 1 receiver, Amari Cooper. You have the best running game in the NFL, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. You got a top-flight quarterback, Deshaun Watson. You have maybe the best pass rusher, if not the second best pass rusher in the game, Myles Garrett. And you have a secondary that is good enough. Inside backers, I'd want to discuss that, but I can't name one of the Rams' inside backers either, and they just won a Super Bowl. So if you look at it from top to bottom, from the coach of Kevin Stefanski to the running backs to the wide receivers to the quarterbacks, there aren't enough glaring errors that give me so much pause that I can't say the Browns will go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, man. I have a few, and I've listed them already. I will continue. Deshaun Watson at the NFL level has not separated himself from those who are not winners. I'm not going to call him a loser. I know what I just said, y'all. He hasn't separated himself from those who are not winners.
Who were winners? I need clarification.
You know who winners is? Well, in his division is Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow got a losing career record, if I'm not mistaken.
In the Super Bowl. I'm talking about that.
So if you're only a winner if you've been to a Super Bowl. I just need clarification.
No, you're going to get clarification. I gave you some names, and here comes some more. Deshaun Watson didn't play football last year. There are 2 responses I'm looking for before I even give you all the names. What are you going to do on the field with a 29-win record out of 4 seasons with Houston when, listen to these names, Fitzpatrick, Keenum, Mallett, I got to say Ryan Mallett, some people don't know that, Brian Hoyer, T.J. Yates, Brandon Whedon, Brock Osweiler, and Tom Savage in 4 years won 30 games. You ain't separated yourself from the non-winners just yet. Okay.
That's cooking books, sir. That's cooking books.
That's cooking books?
Yes, sir.
30 wins, 29 wins. I'm sorry.
Did Deshaun play every game in the 4 years of Deshaun Watson tear his ACL, sir?
He tore his ACL.
He missed some time, sir.
Yes, he did. And all those players didn't even get full time. In, out, Point being, I gave you 7 names. Deshaun, you can't separate from those 7 guys who are all adding up to less than you. Interesting. 1 playoff win. They all got 1 playoff win. Is that cooking books? He was healthy in the playoff game. Here's another thing I got to tell you. What's he going to do when he responds on the field and off the field? Between the white lines, there are question marks. You got to admit that. Stop trying to win all these arguments. You know that. Here's the response off the field. This is why I told you he should have settled. This is the problem. It's already starting. God, I hate this for this man.
Go, Marcellus.
Shut up.
Go.
As, quote, as obviously talented as Watson is, this is a team writing about Deshaun Watson potentially joining their team, and they love Deshaun Watson. As obviously talented as Watson is, it would be very slimy and unpleasant way for the Eagles to go about trying to win.
Who wrote the article?
I don't know. You probably know.
Exactly.
And it goes further. But here's my point. I don't know how Deshaun Watson going to respond on the field, 29-27. I don't know how Deshaun Watson going to respond off the field. This is the first time he got to go on the field. And let's just say the boos have different words attached to them now. It's a lot of question marks. And you're going to go to a division where the team represented the Super Bowl, was representative in the Super Bowl. You're going to go to where Lamar Jackson's like, oh, we're going to be healthier this year, and I'm back. You're going to go to a team where whatever they're going to do in Pittsburgh is still going to be a tough game. This Cleveland Brown roster is good. Offensively, they got their passing game challenges. Running game, amazing. What does a running game get you in today's NFL?
Not a ton.
Not a ton.
Keeps you honest. Not a ton.
It keeps right. So you have something that's not going to really help you. What you really need, you don't have. And then defensively, there are some cracks in the armor. We don't know how you're going to play 2 games above 500. And we don't know how you're going to respond to now the crowd is going to be looking at you just slightly different.
Here's my closing argument.
Okay.
I can't say that Deshaun Watson hasn't separated himself from winners when Matthew Stafford is a career 86-95-1. Matthew Stafford is a career loser but just won a Super Bowl. I can't say Deshaun Watson hasn't separated himself from winners when Joe Burrow just went to the Super Bowl and Joe Burrow's career record is 12-13-1. I can't say Deshaun Watson hasn't separated himself from winners when Justin Herbert is 15-17 and you think he's one of the most talented in the game, and I don't necessarily disagree. Deshaun Watson 29-27. So while I just listed off 3 of the best quarterbacks in football, they all are career losers. Deshaun Watson, career winner. I know this much. Deshaun Watson will be hyper-focused in Cleveland for 2 reasons. Number 1.
Was he not in Houston?
Coming off of, clearly he wasn't. I like Deshaun Watson. Well, based on what we know about the offseason.
He had his best, first of all, that is focus, my old school. Let me stop. 4-12, bad record. He had his best season. You don't think he was focused?
Here's my thing, and I think this is what we all make the mistake of doing. We assume that because we were successful, we couldn't have been more successful.
I get you.
Right? We all say, and I'll pivot and I'll come back real quick.
Okay.
We all say Doc Rivers, phenomenal coach. He won a title in Boston. Acho, what you mean? But then when we zoom out, and you had to zoom out, Doc Rivers coached the Clippers and never won a went to a Western Conference Finals. Yeah. We zoom out and we're like, did Doc Rivers really achieve or underachieve? But because he won a championship, we're like, man, he's the greatest. Deshaun had a phenomenal season. But I can't say that Deshaun Watson was super locked in on football just based upon the allegations that are occurring right now. I assume he could have been more focused, I would like to say. At least I could have been more focused. So Deshaun Watson will be hyper-focused in Cleveland because he can't afford to be unfocused. He can't afford for any more off-field discretions or transgressions. He can't afford for that. Meanwhile, the Browns were 11-5 with Baker Mayfield in 5 to 6 commercials. So you're going to have Deshaun Watson hyper-focused, a Browns roster that is ready and loaded, and I know that Deshaun Watson is a capable winner. I think the biggest point is this. Several big points, the biggest being this.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is a winning quarterback with a non-NFL caliber coach. Like, that's what I don't think people realize.
That's a good
Bill
point.
O'Brien's not even an NFL caliber coach. We can say that for a couple reasons. Number 1, he's not in the NFL. Number 2, even at Alabama's offensive coordinator, what was the downfall of Alabama this year? Their offense. What did we say about Alabama's offense this year? They were stagnant. Your friend, my now alma mater's head coach, Steve Sarkisian, had Alabama every which way, had wide receivers winning Heismans. But Bill O'Brien, as Alabama's offensive coordinator, has the most talented team in college football looking stagnant. So Deshaun Watson is a winning quarterback with a losing head coach. If Deshaun Watson needed no greater ammunition for his greatness, I would simply say this. I'm a winning quarterback with Bill O'Brien as coach.
Oh,
simple as that.
You go to barbershop with that, you're going to get your ass kicked out. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Great points, strong points. Focus changed, though. I think Acho is still old school focus. Eat, sleep, drink, football. Deshaun going to be hyper-focused this year in Cleveland. Whoa, it's going to add up to better results. First of all, I protect the guilty. I played with Hall of Famers who lived their life greater off the field than they did on the field. But for some reason, somehow, some way, that's the way it worked for them. That was their recipe for success. You know, focus used to be 1 dot, football. Now it's 1,000,000 dots, but I know which ones to prioritize. To the point, you really think Tiger Woods would have played better than he did for his 8-10-year run when Tiger Woods was being Tiger Woods off the course? I'd just be really careful that they're not choir boys in the locker room. Very few, right? So most of them are doing something that kind of fuels the process. I wonder if a locked-in Deshaun Watson, to your point, is going to actually be better. Because, boy, he was balling out of control with all this other stuff in tow. It's going to be interesting to see, but we'll see it somewhere outside of Cleveland, Mac.